Hey there, and welcome. Ever wonder how a brilliant idea from a scientist's lab actually becomes a fact that you can read in a textbook? Well, it's all thanks to a really structured process called academic publishing. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that whole world by looking at the very first step, an invitation known as a call for papers. So let's just think about this for a second. You see a headline about some amazing new discovery, right? But how does that idea go from being just an idea to becoming official, citable knowledge? How does one person's work get shared, checked by experts, and added to this huge global conversation? Well, it all kicks off with an invitation. And that invitation has a name, a call for papers. You can think of it like an open announcement from an academic journal, basically saying, hey, experts, send us your latest and greatest work. To really see how this plays out, we're going to walk through a real-world example from a journal called Exploration.
All right, so first up, the invitation itself. What does it actually look like, and who's it for?
Okay, here it is. The journal Exploration is putting out the call for its 2026 edition. And notice who they're inviting. It's not some super exclusive club. We're talking researchers, yeah, but also educators and other professionals from all over the world. They're casting a wide net, looking for new ideas in fields like education, social sciences, humanities, and management.
But here's the thing. A journal isn't just a magazine that prints whatever it gets. It has a mission. It acts as a gatekeeper to make sure that only high-quality work gets through. So, what are the rules for getting past these gates? Every call for papers lays out the basic policies. So for Exploration, we can see it publishes once a year, every January. It uses a process called double-blind peer review, and we'll dig into what that means in just a second. And, this is a big one, it's free of charge to submit. That is huge because it opens the door to amazing researchers who might not have a ton of funding. So what on earth is this double-blind peer review thing? Well, it's pretty much the gold standard for being fair in the academic world. Double-blind just means the whole review process is anonymous. The expert who's reviewing the paper has no idea who wrote it, and the author, they have no idea who the reviewers are. This helps make sure that the work is judged on its own merit. You know, it's about the quality of the idea, not the reputation of the person who wrote it. Now, if you're thinking about submitting, you've got to pay attention to the deadlines. This entire process runs on a pretty strict schedule, so let's take a look. Okay, time to circle some dates on your calendar. November 10th, 2025. That is the absolute drop-dead deadline for getting your paper in. Then you'll hear back from the editors pretty quickly, within a week, just to let you know if your paper made the first cut and is moving on to the review stage. And if everything goes to plan, it'll be published in January 2026. Okay, so we know the what, the why, and the when. Now we get to the how, the really specific rules for putting your paper together. And let me tell you, these aren't just suggestions. You have to follow them to the letter. First big rule, length. Your entire article, and that includes all your references, has to be between 3,500 and 5,000 words. Now, why so strict? It really forces you to be crystal clear and focused. There is absolutely no room for fluff. Next, the title. You get a maximum of 12 words. That's it, 12 words to try and capture the entire point of your research. It's the very first thing people read, so it has to be catchy and powerful. No pressure, right? Then you've got what I call the snapshot of your study. The abstract is a little mini summary of your whole paper, squeezed into just 150 to 250 words. And your keywords, those are the search terms that are going to help other researchers find your work. Seriously, just think of them as the official hashtags for your paper. The paper itself also has to follow a really clear, logical structure. You start with an introduction, then you explain your methods and procedures. After that, you present your results and discussion. And you wrap it all up with the conclusion. It's like a classic story. What was the problem? How did you study it? What did you find out? And most importantly, what does it all mean? And now for the details that are absolutely non-negotiable. The font has to be Times New Roman, 12-point. It needs to be single-spaced, and all your citations have to follow a specific format called APA's 7th edition. Now, this might seem a little picky, but it's not just about looking professional. It makes sure every single paper in the journal is consistent, which makes it way easier for everyone to read and compare them. And this right here, this might be the most important rule of all. The guidelines state it crystal clear, and I'm quoting, authors are fully responsible for ensuring originality. Any plagiarized content will result in rejection. There's no gray area. Academic integrity is the absolute bedrock of all research. Your work has to be your work, period. Your research can't just exist in a bubble. This journal requires you to cite at least 15 other scholarly sources. This is how you prove you've done your homework. It shows that you're joining an ongoing conversation, not just starting one from scratch. All right, you've done the research, you've written the paper, you've checked every single rule twice. So what's left? Let's look at how you actually cross that finish line.
After all that incredibly hard and detailed work, the final step is surprisingly simple. You just save your manuscript as a Microsoft Word file, attach it to an email, and send it to the address they provided. That's it. You hit send and your work is officially in the hands of the editors, on its way.
So, from a simple invitation to this whole rigorous, multi-step review, that's how new knowledge gets checked and published. It's a system built on structure, on fairness, and on an insane amount of detail, which leaves us with one last big question to chew on. In an age of instant information and endless social media feeds, what's the real value of a process that is designed to be slow, that is built for rigor, and that depends entirely on review? Something to think about.